Good afternoon, everybody. This is Chris Scully and Bob Spitz coming to you live from Drive. And today we have special guest Brennan Earhart from Columbia Falls Auto Clinic. Welcome, Brennan.
Good to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you, Brennan.
Thank you.
You know, Brennan, I remember you as a collision shop guy, and now you're a general repair guy. How did that transition happen?
Oh, let's see. When did that begin? I started a mechanic shop in our body shop in 2018. And then in about late 2020, we decided to move out of the town we were in and found this shop. It was a general repair shop that was for sale in Columbia Falls. And so we just made a deal with my brother, who was my partner in the body shop, and came over here and bought this one and took over.
There you go.
Good move.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the management techniques we teach work whether you have a grocery store or an auto shop, but it is a different business model from collision to general repair.
Yeah, it is a little bit.
How was it making that transition? Was it a little bit difficult, or did it happen pretty smoothly? How did that go for you?
You know, it was pretty smooth. You know, the shop was fairly good size. I think we had 3 mechanics and a service writer, and the manager that ran the shop for a while, he quit. So the owner came back. And then when he didn't want to own it anymore, that's when he sold it. So I kind of moved in as that manager, secondary service writer. And it was a lot faster pace than the body shop, which I kind of knew it would be.
Right.
So, but it, you know, it was pretty smooth. Took me a while. Actually, it was kind of funny because we took over in April of 21, and about end of July, the one service writer that's been here for 9 years, he got COVID with his wife and was off for 6 weeks.
Ooh.
And so I was here by myself running the shop. I'd only been in the shop for 2.5 months or something like that. And so it was tough, but at the same time, it was good because I think by the time he came back, the shop was mine. It wasn't the thing I was buying and trying to figure out how to run it. I'd thrown into the fire and had to run it myself for 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, you definitely got thrown in at the deep end.
Yeah, but you know, it came out the other side just way better off, I think.
Yeah,
That's great.
well, you had all that experience from your other shop,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sure that translated pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss the
Yeah.
insurance industry?
Not one bit. Not one bit.
You have any contact with them through extended warranties? And
You know, we've done a few of those warranties, and I tell the guys, let's just stay away from them because they're just like any insurance company. They only pay you the minimum dollar amount. You can't mark up any parts, and then they just nickel and dime you for every little thing, and you don't make any money on them.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, it comes down to really educating the customer beforehand about what that warranty actually covers and what they're going to be responsible for.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because most consumers don't know what LKQ is.
No.
And they think they're getting something new or something rebuilt. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the junkyard part.
yeah.
Now, what? Let's see. You've been with Drive a number of years, right, Brennan?
Yeah, 2009 we started.
Yeah. Okay. So about 14. All right. Tell us a little bit about where you were at when you joined up and how things were going in at that time, your collision shop, and want to give everybody a sense of your journey.
Yeah, my brother and I started our shop in '99, And we like building street rods and stuff. And so we were kind of in that scene. And through the early 2000s, I was working really hard to get more insurance work coming through the shop. I had a big list that I called every month of the DRP heads for multiple insurance companies. And I just kept, for a couple of years, hounding those guys, trying to get on their list to, just to get more insurance work. Because our insurance, the stuff we were doing was starting to drop off. And we were doing the same gross, but we were doing more custom work.
Uh-huh.
And so, it's a funny story because we got a flyer from you guys, we can grow your business. And so my wife and I went to the seminar and we signed up. And then we went back that next weekend and gutted our office and cleaned it and painted it and got it all spruced up. And then we went back to work. And the next weekend we were going to do it again, but put new flooring in it because the shop had been a shop since the mid-60s that we were in.
Mm.
And I think the last time the office was remodeled was about 74.
Oh, wow.
The little 1 foot square sticky tiles were all coming up and they were just horrible looking. But during that week between painting the office and when we were getting ready to do the floor, the owners came in and said they were kicking us out.
Oh,
And we had 2 months to move our body shop somewhere else. Like,
yeah.
that was gonna do. And we were about ready to just close the doors because we were like, well, we're not making any money and this is just ridiculous. So,
Right.
yeah, but yeah, so I signed up with you guys and the first 2 months of being on the program, I had to find a new building, get it set up to run the shop, put a paint booth in it and plumb it and wire it. And finally we moved in. Actually, it was the 1st of April, I think, when we opened the doors there. And so we kind of hit the ground running with a little bit of experience from drive. And, I just kept taking more and more classes and learning more from you and growing the business. And I think I never did. I got a DRP from MetLife and the general, I think, insurance, which is just low dollar stuff. They didn't really give us much work, but in about 3 years of being on your guys' program, I just quit calling those people because our business had probably quadrupled in size in that 3 or 4 years. And we didn't need them anymore.
Yeah, you discovered you don't need the insurance companies to get work in the door.
Yeah. Thinking of all the stuff you guys told us how to market our business and get out and talk to people and, get them to know who we are, that really started taking off. And I think about 2019, State Farm actually came to us and wanted us to get on their program. And I said, no. And about a year later, we did join the DRP for State Farm. And I think they're still on it. But
Well, I know, talking to Jimmy, that the shop is swamped.
yes,
they're busy.
they're having the same trouble that everybody does. You can't find enough employees to get all the work done.
Yeah, that and the parts issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Which affected collision much more than general repair. Affected truck a lot too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that was a smart move, what you did. It definitely worked out.
Yeah, it really has. It's been almost 2 years here and grown it quite a bit. Still gotta put a few more blocks in place to get it running a little bit smoother, but it's definitely a good move.
That's great.
That's great.
So what's your goal for the year, Brennan?
Well, one of my goals is to take a day off every week.
Well, that's a good goal.
I've been pretty good at it, but last week one of my techs took a leave of absence for a while, and one of my service writers was sick, and so I've kind of had to jump back in. I missed a couple of weeks now, but the goal is just to put a new sign out front. I got a really terrible looking sign. It doesn't even light up, but just to have a little bit more free time, do some more hiking and fishing with my wife.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know, I had a client years ago. We created a separate KPI for him on number of days in the shop, and we made it an upside down graph with a goal on it.
Yeah.
And he hit it when he got down to 50 days a year in the shop. He achieved his goal.
That'd be all right.
Yeah. Made a game out of it. So what do you mainly work on in your area of Montana? Mainly pickups, diesel?
We don't do a lot of diesel work, a little bit, but mostly trucks and Subarus.
Oh yeah, lots of Subarus up here.
Subarus. Yeah, we don't work too much on European cars, but you get a few in every once in a while, but mostly just Asian and American cars and trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You finding many hybrids in the area?
Yeah, there's a few, not too many.
That makes sense, actually, considering the climate.
Yeah. There's actually more Lamborghinis in this town than I thought there would ever be, but there's quite a few rich people around here.
That's interesting.
Buying up the old ranches, coming up with a lot of Hollywood money?
Yeah, buying lake property and ski resort property and everything else. And I think COVID drove a lot of people up here. And then all those shows I am on TV. I think living in Montana is a wonderful place, but I think they should all just stay out.
Well, that's kind of like the old story of people visiting Tahoe in the summer and going, my gosh, is it beautiful? And seeing an alpine style house for sale, and they buy the house, and come February they're shoveling snow off the roof of the house up in the air, and come April the for sale sign is up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Brennan, obviously one of the things that you have to do to get more time off from a shop is get your team trained. And I know that Jabron's been working with you on your playbook.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about how that's going.
Yeah, it's going pretty good. Kind of slower than I'd hoped. It seems like there's always something that draws me back into working in the shop, in the business. I was doing an oil change on a couple of rigs last week, so I can't write policies and stuff when I'm doing an oil change, but
That's true.
trying to get enough people working for us. But yeah, just working through to put all those things in place so that people know how this place is supposed to run.
Mhm.
So,
Well, are you gearing towards promoting one of your guys to manager, or are you going to be looking for a manager? Because it sounds like that's what you need.
yeah, one of the guys will be promoted sometime in the next year.
Yeah. Well, the old saying, you never stop recruiting.
No, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you've got to always recruit, because you never know when the right guy is going to walk in the door.
Yeah, I think, and I've had quite a bit of turnover. This shop had three mechanics that worked here for 30 years. And one retired 5 years ago. And then the second one retired in September after I took over in April. So and he works a couple of days a week. And the one tech that's been here for 20 years, he's still here. And then I've had guys just come and go and come and go and come and go. Sometimes we have threes, and then we have back down to two, and it's the same battle I think everybody's having across the country, is just finding a good employee that can do the job right and wants to stay.
Yeah.
So
Now, once again, that's why you can never stop recruiting.
yeah,
Because just when you think you've got the right crew, someone decides to retire or quit or,
Open their
go
own
into a
shop
whole new
somewhere.
line of business or whatever.
yeah.
And of course, with your older technicians, they start slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the old Phil Necro story. He said when he got into his 40s, I throw the ball as hard as I ever did, but it just takes longer to get to the plate.
Yeah.
So it's kind of true with technicians. They work just as hard as ever, it just takes them longer to get it done.
Yeah. They still get there.
Yeah, they
Yep.
get there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have
Yeah,
a local VOTEC school or
No.
so the local high school doesn't have a program?
No, they don't. I actually had a kind of an intern kid here this fall for a couple of months, and he just was not much of a worker.
Uh,
He just kind of phased out anyways, but yeah, I wish there was in Wenatchee where we were at, had the body shop, there was a junior college that had a mechanic program. And I got several guys out of that to work for us. They're new, they're green, they don't know what they're doing, but you get somebody that's, been doing it for 30 years, you can work underneath them and train that new guy.
Right.
But yeah,
as long as they're willing,
yes.
as long as they're willing, you can train them. Yeah. So what technology changes? What are you doing about your tech training? Because I read all these articles about the technology changes in our industry. Well, there's always been technology changes, but it seems to be more so than ever.
Mm-hmm.
It's much faster these days.
Yeah. Some of the part suppliers, Riley's or Napa or something like that, they've got classes they're starting to put on. We used to go to ICAR classes in the body shop, but they don't have that kind of a situation that I found anyways in the mechanic side of things. So you just, one of the guys from O'Reilly's, I think, was in here the other day and telling us about some classes on new technology, on just, I think it was the new air conditioning Freon and stuff like that. And so they have 3 or 4 classes a year that we're gonna send some guys to. But beyond that, I mean, it's amazing how many times the guys will pull open the YouTube account and how are they changing that water pump? What's the trick to it? Or so
Yeah, YouTube Academy.
yeah.
You just gotta consider the source. What channel are you watching?
Yeah, they don't ever watch the 6-8 minute video. They just scroll through until they see what the guy did right there. How did they get that bolt out? Oh, okay, I see how. Oh, but yeah, technology that's a tough one. I haven't quite figured that out yet. Keeping the guys trained and up on the latest things.
Right.
And just keeping them sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's a lot of evolution that, as you know, the newest technologies hit the body shops first, because those new cars, they get in an accident and you're going to get them and you're going to have to fix them. But it takes a little while for some of that to hit the general repair sector because they don't have problems in the first few years.
Yeah, and a lot of them are under warranty and
all of that stuff. So But it's important to stay ahead because you don't want to be learning it when they show up.
Yeah.
You want to be a little bit ahead of the game there. And that is a definite challenge for a lot of shops.
Hmm.
Well, we're seeing cottage industries popping up of guys who are calibrating ADAS sensors for
Mhm.
shops. Because some of those requirements, I mean, you ran into it in collision. With a Honda, you need 30 feet of clear space to do a proper front end ADAS calibration.
Yeah.
You know, not too many shops have got 30 feet of free space.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like you
true.
got to build a barn for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Valuable
warehouse.
real estate. Yeah.
So Brennan, we talked a little bit about some of the goals in the future for your shop. Let's talk a little bit about, because I know you got master at the last expo, right?
Hmm.
Oh yeah, congratulations, Brennan. That's great.
Thank
Are you, is master lead on the drawing board there for you?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I don't know if I'm gonna hit it by September, but I'll be, and that's just part of the policies and putting everything together to get the shop running smooth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely go hand in hand. In fact, one thing that I've noticed a long time is that the more people work toward hitting those milestones of master elite, the better their businesses run,
Yeah.
because you're
Well,
putting in all the right actions.
it's
Right.
just having that goal,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Keeps you
and just
focused.
knowing where you're headed, knowing what you want, and working every day to get to it,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah. I was curious, Brennan, what is the best source of or channel of marketing for you in that area of the country?
Why? I haven't figured that out yet.
Okay. So you're doing the shotgun approach, just hitting all kinds of avenues.
I've got my website and working that through Drive.
There's a good looking
And
website. I was on
you
it this
guys,
morning.
I do social media posts and stuff with you guys. I do Google ads. And locally, they've got a newspaper that they put a sticker. And so I'm always coming up every month. I'm trying to come up with another special, which the same special I put on the newspaper, I'm putting on my website.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, local advertising, it's tough, you know. The area I'm in it's a big area. I mean, it takes 30 minutes to get anywhere you go here, from a little town to a little town.
Right.
But it's, there's a lot of people that live in this Flathead Valley. And in Wenatchee, we were the same size of town was crammed into about a fifth of the area, if maybe
Mm-hmm.
even less, a tenth of the area. And so it was 10 minutes, wherever you want to go was 10 minutes. I did a lot of radio advertising at the old shop.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of leaning towards maybe doing a little bit of that, but it's really our little community. I get 50-60% of our business is from our town. There's 5,000 or 6,000 people live here, but we're 10 miles from Kalispell, which is 80,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
10 miles from Whitefish, which is another 5,000 people. So I don't know. I'm
So
just
a lot of word of mouth in your town.
yes, yeah. I do have a what is that, bolt-on product,
Mm-hmm.
and so they text. Got some campaigns where I text if a person comes in they get a text 3 days after their job is invoiced, asking them, did we get everything done right? And I get a lot of feedback from that. And through that, I respond to anybody that responds back to that text. I respond to them and say thank you. And, if they're a real happy customer, I ask them for a Google review. But I turned another one on that was if somebody hasn't been in the shop for 4 or 8 or 12 months, they get a text from me.
Okay, great.
So I think that's helped just to create that word of mouth, or just so people know they get a
They
good
don't forget
response
you.
from me.
Yeah,
What's that?
they don't forget you.
Yeah, they don't
Right.
forget. But most people that respond say, "Hey, thank you for checking up on me."
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those goodwills, kind of like sending out your thank you letters
Sure.
Right.
after somebody picks their car up. It's the same idea. And I believe that system is going to just create more of a positive attitude, or a positive view of our shop, and that'll just increase more word of mouth.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, the tricky thing, if you did radio in Washington, the tricky thing is knowing your demographics and what do your customers listen to? What station do they listen to? And
Yeah. The other town, I grew up there, and I knew the radio stations, and I knew lots of people, and I knew all the radio stations that they listened to. And so I didn't advertise on my station. I advertised on the one that everybody else listened to.
Yeah, right.
But, and it was, we were in the middle of town. And so you're in Wenatchee, you're advertising in Wenatchee, and people can come find you. And in Columbia Falls, I'm going to be advertising in this entire area. I'm a half an hour from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And in Kalispell, there's, a dozen really good shops. Why would somebody drive that extra 10, 12 miles out to Columbia Falls? So,
yeah, well, just got to come up with a clever campaign.
yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that you're running Google Ads will help, because that will always pull in a certain amount of new customers who are looking for something in your area. I'm sure that's going to be a factor
Yeah.
over time as well. And it's just a matter of continuing to research and continuing to stay on the pulse of that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, our half hour is just about up.
Holy cow.
Wow.
You're
Yeah,
right.
it goes fast. All right. Well, Brennan, thank you very much for joining us today, and
Yeah.
look forward to seeing you at the expo in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And
Thanks for having me.
You betcha.
next week we have Brandon Todd of My Honest Mechanic in North Carolina. So tune in for that show, and everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
So long, everyone.
See ya.